Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Um, so I was scrolling on TikTok earlier, and there was this TikTok video of this kid in Japan. He was I think he was carrying a bouquet of flower. At the same time, his other hand was pushing a bike. Well, I guess leading the bike because he was holding it by the handlebar, and he as he was walking in this somewhat crowded walkway, that he accidentally bumped into a parked car. And he actually bumped into this parked car. And I think a lot of times, I think in the US, when we see something like this happen, right, that we made a mistake, that we damage somebody's property, I think the automatic response is, because nobody saw me, I'm gonna walk away, right? And so in the TikTok video, this kid actually ran inside to the nearest store to ask for a pen and paper, and he proceeds to write down his contact information, and he places the note on the dent side mirror. And I think, first of all, I think that tells a lot about somebody's integrity, right? Integrity is the thing you do, or rather the things that show when nobody's looking at you, when you're not getting rewarded for it. It's entirely based on the characteristic of the child, right? His integrity. I wish I could even simplify and break down the word integrity, but I think to the core is what a person's value is, right? Without other people seeing him doing it, but what is someone's integrity value, right? What are they like when no one's looking? Do someone behave differently? Do they put on an act just to put on an act in front of other people? So you're probably like, why am I mentioning a TikTok video that you saw? So actually, in the TikTok video, there was a narrator. It could have been AI, could have been an actual person. The narrator kind of talked about what I was saying, how integrity, and the narrator mentions that the kid was raised right. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the beginning, but the kid, or where it happened in the video, was in Japan. So it was this Japanese kid, damaging someone's things, and writing a note down to make sure that the person has the right to contact him and ask for payment. Is there a better word for that? Ask for payment. Words are not coming to me. Ask for repercussion. Well, that doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean. Leaving his contact information, that was a big thing. And the narrator mentioned that the kid was raised right, and that kind of stuck out to me, because I think oftentimes, maybe because I live in America, and maybe because I was born in China and raised, my first 10 years in China, and then came to the US. I have a lot of things to talk about when it comes to like parenting and child, all that good stuff. just because I've observed, a pretty wide range of things in the U.S. and how it's different in Asian countries, and this video might rub people the wrong way, but your child, who your child is, who he is a reflection of the parent, right? The child is a reflection of the parent. Whether that means, if that means that how he acts in society, how he acts in public, what he does, how he treats people is a reflection of the parent, right? And you're like, oh, why do you say that, Daniel? Oh, there's a couple of things, right? Um, a lot of things, a lot of the way kids learn to treat people is through modeling family, modeling environment, modeling dynamics, and the kid sometimes doesn't all of a sudden just spawn on earth with these behavior, right? All these things are learned behavior, whether that is seeing the parents treat other people, seeing the parents treat each other. These are all learned things, all observed example that the kids learn. Kids are sharp, kids are sponges, especially when they're young, soak up anything. And what I noticed is that I feel like the parents in US, they are they're very bad at taking accountability. And I could go into accountability. It's a big topic, but when they say the apple don't fall too far from the tree is the right expression, is that who you allow your kid to be is who they'll be in society. And at least the first, I want to say the first 18, 15 years of development, where you as a parent have the right to, speak up and change and discipline and shape the child's behavior. It's all up to you. And that means that if you let your kid get away with certain things in the house, right, those things will automatically show up in other situations, other environments, or if you as a parent weren't there enough, right, not enough parental presence in the house, and that becomes a whole neglect thing. You neglected your kids, not to say on purpose, right? I'm sure that parents have difficult lives and they're just as humans, but in the end, you are how your child behave is a reflection of you. What you let them get away with, or what you don't let them get away with, what you see and what you don't see, right? What you correct and what you don't correct. It's always the parent's fault. And I noticed that in the US, everybody likes to blame the teacher, like as if the 2 hours or the 1.5 hours your kid spends with the teacher is why your kid is misbehaving. It's never about that. Everything, it's no, the kids don't turn bad in one day, right? The kids, there's always a foundation to everything, right? The sick dog doesn't get sick in one day, right? It's always a process. And the same thing with kids, right? Kids don't learn to be who they are just by one instant of experience, right? It's by multiple instances, right? It's the things you don't catch as a parent. It's the things you don't correct as a parent. It's when you become a It's when you become quiet as a parent that your kids learn, oh, okay, so my parents didn't speak up about that. That means this is acceptable behavior. And sometimes those acceptable behaviors will get the kids in a lot of trouble because they weren't corrected when they were young. They didn't have a figure in the house that tell them, hey, this is wrong, you shouldn't be doing this, correcting them, disciplining them. And as a result, I think that's why there's so many um juveniles. Is that the way to call them? Juveniles, misbehaved kids, however you label them. And um and and and, and I'm not trying to turn this video into like a parenting thing, but the core of this video is to to inform that you know your kid is a reflection of what you allow and don't allow to exist, behaviors that you allow or don't allow to exist at your home, right? Whether you catch it or you don't catch it, whether you're there or not there, they are your fault if you are they are your fault if they really misbehave, you know. And I'm like I said, I'm largely talking about like in the earlier developmental stages of like childhood, you know. And well, once your kid becomes an adult, that's no, that's either set or stone, or somewhere down the line, society, life teaches them a lesson. And sometimes those lessons can be pretty big. Could be as big as jail time. It could be easy as a slap in the wrist. But that's the thing, you never know. And I think you're probably like, oh, why do you put so much pressure on the parent? Well, it's because you're the one who brought you're the one who brought them on the earth. So it's your responsibility as a parent to do a good job so that the kid grows up to be to be something that contributes to society, right? Rather than doing the opposite. And yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's the message of the day. Now, hopefully, that this video has kind of invigorated some thoughts and ideas in your head about like, you know, childhood and raising a kid and all that good stuff. It's a very rewarding journey. Having kids is a very rewarding journey. Um, wish I could have some kids, but obviously I don't have anybody right now, so that's not an option, right? But guys, as always, take care of yourself. Hopefully this sparks some conversation in your head, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.